The season isn't quite over yet, but there's no way we can overlook Red Bull's extraordinary contender for 2023 with 6 races left to run as we write. It's quite possible that we will look back in 20 to 40 years' time and still see the RB19 as the most dominant car F1 has ever seen. This is already the most dominant display from a single car and a single driver in history. Max Verstappen in the RB19 has proven to be, bar for one inexplicable blip in Singapore, utterly untouchable. The car has already set 2 new records, firstly for Red Bull, as it achieved 14 race victories in a row plus 3 sprint successes, while Verstappen himself set a new record of 10 consecutive wins. It's also well on its way to setting a new points record. It's not just the wins, it's their manner. The RB19 has absolutely annihilated the field. There has been a consistent gap in the region of 30 seconds between Verstappen and his nearest non-Red Bull challenger throughout. The McLaren MP4/4 is statistically, for now, the best F1 car of all time. In the 1988 F1 season, in the hands of Alain Prost and Ayrton Senna, the MP4/4 won 15 of the 16 races, only missing out on the complete set at the Italian Grand Prix thanks to Senna's famous collision with Jean-Louis Schlesser. Just 1 month after Enzo Ferrari died, even McLaren had to feel okay with losing that one win to Ferrari. Powered by a superior Honda engine sniped from rivals Williams for the 88 season, the MP4/4 car was masterminded by designer Steve Nichols and technical director Gordon Murray. What they came up with was leagues ahead of the rest, truly one of the most dominant F1 cars we have ever seen. Despite that unfortunate mishap at Monza, the MP4/4 was imperious throughout the season in a way never seen before or since. It holds a 93.8% victory rate and overall scored 10 1-2 finishes. Prost won 7 races, Senna won 8, and the Brazilian secured his first of 3 F1 World Championships. Here we are once again trying to discern greatness from greatness. The Ferrari era from 2000 to 2004 was another of those that can only really be defined as such, and yet there is one car in particular that stands out from the rest. It could be the F2004, which won 15 races during its 18-race tenure, including 12 of the first 13 rounds of that 2004 season in a demoralizing counter to the championship. Instead, we plumped for the F2002 because it absolutely wiped the floor with the competition. So dominant was Ferrari at this stage that it didn't even introduce the F2002 until the 3rd race of the season. It didn't need to. The F2001 from the season before still won in Australia. But when the new car did finally arrive on the grid, the rest of the field must have felt like giving up on the spot. From the Brazilian Grand Prix onwards, Schumacher finished no lower than 2nd, and on all but one occasion it was his teammate Barrichello who won instead. Powered by a 3.0-litre V10, the F2002 wasn't the most powerful car on the grid. That honour fell to the BMW-powered Williams cars, but it was by far and away the best handling. It featured an innovative clutchless gearbox that was so small, the rear could be packaged in almost any way designer Rory Byrne wished. So dominant was the F2002 that the Constructors' Championship was won with nearly triple the number of points of runners-up Williams. When the Williams FW14 arrived on the scene in 1991, it was a technological marvel, so far advanced to most of its competition, but its teething issues meant that it was never really in with a chance of winning the title that year. But Adrian Newey's first iconic F1 design would still win 7 races that season on its way to 2nd in the championship. In fact, people forget that in that first season, Nigel Mansell won only 2 races, fewer than eventual champion Ayrton Senna, and his lack of real title contention was mostly down to the early season struggles that saw the FW14 retire 6 times in 4 races. Many of the reliability issues stemmed from semi-automatic gear-OBX, and work was done to rectify that for 1992. New traction control systems and tweaked active suspension made this B-spec car an even more monstrous machine, even if to the naked eye the only real difference is a couple of protrusions by the front suspension push rods, which contains some of the active suspension components. At the wheel of this new FW14B there was no stopping Mansell, who had been waiting for another opportunity to fight for the championship for so long that he'd already retired from F1 once. Mansell won the first 5 races in a row, a feat still only matched once by Michael Schumacher in 2004, and went on to win a record, at the time, 9 races in the season. It also qualified on pole for all but 1 race in 1992, and added another 11 fastest laps. For more updates, like and subscribe to this channel. For more updates, like and subscribe.